Hi guys, welcome to Learn Electronics Repair. It's that time of the week again, it's car booty time. So, at the weekend, a few days ago, it's the middle of the week now, I bought some computers and I'll show you what I got with my new fangled camera system. Okay, how about that? Touch of a button. So, I have 8 computers. You can see there's 4 desktops there, and there are 4 towers. Now, the reason I ended up with 8 computers is because there are 3 of the towers which I wanted. And by definition of wanted, I mean to say that they had or have AGP cards in them. So anything with AGP I consider to be retro and worth saving, even if I just stash it away for a few years until the price goes up more. The other 4 desktop computers, I didn't actually look inside them because they are not really the things I buy. There's a Dell down there. There's whatever they are. So I didn't actually look at those. The 3 computers I wanted with the AGP, as is always the case, I offered him €15 each. That's 45 for the 3. It's a fixed price now with this guy, all from the same guy, and he was happy to take the €45. Then he says, Rich, take all of them for 60. So I thought, you know what, 5 computers for like for €15, that's €3 each. They've got to be worth having, haven't they? Knowing my luck, let's see. So we'll look at the 4 desktop ones, then the 1 tower that wasn't AGP. Let's see if we can get €15 out of that lot, and then we'll have a look at the more interesting ones. I won't spend too much time on these machines unless it turns out they're really interesting by some chance. This has a parallel port card in for USB. It's prior to USB 3, a sort of serial port as well. Might be something like a Pentium 4, I don't know. It says Asus on the front. I'm not sure you can see the badge. It probably won't focus at this angle, but that's an Asus badge. Yeah, and it's kind of like not held together very well. So I actually don't know what's inside any of these desktops. Let's have a look at what we've got. Oh, I see. Oh, the whole top comes off, I see. Ah, and this will also stand up as well. Okay. Bits are falling out of it. So, I've seen one of these before. The socket 775 with like a funny motherboard that only fits into these cases. Standard ATX power supply, and really of very little interest. Even for €3, yeah. It's got a beige DVD writer in it. That might be actually worth a little bit. Let's do all the usual things. We can check for shorts on the 12 volts down here, and we can, if there's no shorts, power it up and see what happens with it. You can see I'm really excited with this thing. Yeah. What can we have for €3, eh? What can we have for €3? Right. Ohms range. Are you guys excited with this one as well? There's no short circuit on it. I'm going to plug this in with my current limiting light bulb and circuit because I really have no idea what it's going to do, and then let's see what it does do. It does have an IDE hard drive in it, which I'll just leave connected I think for now, but from the age of this it's probably not going to be like a really useful one like a 500 gig. It might be. 500 gig IDEs actually fetch a little bit of money for the retro market. They were probably the largest IDEs available. I've never seen a 1 terabyte, and obviously very old ones, you know, less than 1 gigabyte, are also rather valuable as well on the retro market. Let's put the current limiter in. Okay, you can see it's up there. we set to limit. So you would expect this to sort of come on bright then go dim. Yeah, like that. So there's no short circuit there, so that's fair enough. We'll switch the limiter out, we'll power it back up again. Let's see if we can find the on-off switch. It must have an on-off switch. You would think so, wouldn't you? You would think there was an on-off switch somewhere on this. No. What's that thing there? That's just like some sort of clip that's broken. That's not the switch. You know? That's strange. Well, I've got the... Oh, I see. I see. So the on-off switch is here. And it's booting up. You hear the bleep from it. Let's connect a monitor and see what it is. It's certainly working. I'm not able yet to capture from VGA or DVI. I've just tried a DVI to HDMI adapter into my capture card, HDMI capture card. It was having none of it. I did buy one VGA to HDMI converter, not working. I've now ordered another one which I think may work, so hopefully we can do that. But for now we're old school. Impossible to open data, so it's saying okay, get rid of that, whatever it is, get rid of that, whatever it is, close. So it's running, what Windows is this? Is it Windows 7? Looks like Windows 7. So like, it must be Windows 7, I guess. No, it's Windows XP. It just looks a bit like Windows 7 for some reason. Windows XP, it's a Celeron 3 gig. It's got half a gig of RAM. Really, I think that tells us pretty much all we need to know about it. What size hard drive is it? $80 gig. So I have to say, really, there's nothing on here of any particular interest, unless I doubt the PCI parallel card is. But I'll take the beige DVD writer out of it at least. Okay, so that's that one. Not worth anything, is it? Really, even the €3 I paid for it, I don't think, unless I get money from the DVD. Well, it's not a total loss, that one, because this is very clean, with it being behind the plastic case, really. And these, I'd have to test if it was working, but they usually are. And this is about, well, £9, £8.99. Quite a few of them have sold, so £9–10 for that. The memory can go into my stash. The 80 gigabyte hard drive, well, it's a SATA one actually, but not worth anything. So we have that, at least we can say we can put into the pile of possible profit. Let's look at the next one. I've seen plenty of these around, Dell Optiplex 745 and similar. These are socket 775, I'm sure. So I really, it has a graphics card in it. A little slimline one. I didn't quite expect that, but I should have done really. Just look at the back of it. I'm pretty sure this is a 775. So is there any profit to be had out of this? It's a PCIe graphics card. We have a do we have a hard drive in this? Yeah, complete machine again, hard drive. Black DVD rewriter in this one. Let's do the same thing. So where's the, yeah, the 12 volts comes down here at the front on this one. Okay, can we get any money out of this? Was that all the motherboards worth anything like Asus? I don't think so. I've seen them before. Okay, ohms range, yeah, there's no short on that one. Same thing then, we'll put the current limiter, in fact it's still in, no it's not, I'll switch it into circuit, won't make that mistake again. It wouldn't be the first time I thought the current limiter was in and it wasn't. orange lights come on. Oh, it's switched on. Ah, and the current limiter bulb was on dim. Sorry you couldn't see it. I've switched it off now. Oh, and as soon as I switch the current limiter off, start again. I tried attaching my monitor to the DVI and realised this is not actually a DVI. So it's like a proprietary type connector. This has like a little cable comes off it with 2 VGA for running 2 monitors. It's a little ATI Radeon of some sort. Model B276. Oh, what's it say on here? You know, it doesn't, just a part number, nothing obvious. I would have to just look up that model 276 and see what it is, but without the adapter cable probably really isn't worth anything. I have the computer with a VGA monitor plugged in, or I will have in one moment, so we can plug this directly into the motherboard. Okay, we can put the power on, orange standby light on. Oh, and an orange light flashed once on the front and went off. Oh, and now it's switched on by itself. This probably means the CMOS battery is no good, and it's booting up. Okay, you can see there. It's asking for a keyboard. I'll plug a USB keyboard in. Yeah, system battery voltage low. Let me plug a USB keyboard and see if I can enter the BIOS. Yeah, something happening. Windows XP again. It's asking me to press Control Alt and Delete to log in, or something like that. Oh, it's been used with a VPN. It's down here, it says VPN. Does that mean it's full of smut? Probably not. I may not get in, it may have some sort of password as well. Can we get rid of that? It's asking me to start a session. I don't think I'm going to get into this. Password on it. No, so I can't get into it. Try that. No. Okay, so I can't log into the Windows on this, but I have to say it really isn't going to be interesting or worth anything, even for €3. I actually had a look a little bit further at that machine. It has an 80 gig SATA again. I've taken the memory out to put into my stash of memory. This little card is a 2400 XT Pro. They do sell, even without the little adapter cable, $9.99. So we can put that onto our little stash of bits that are actually possibly worth something. And I have had a look in the sold listings, a few have sold. So we have that. Let's look at the next one. So this is Visa Triton. Visa Triton PCR. Intel inside, Pentium dual core, so obviously another socket is 775. Does it have a silver? No, it's probably the case. I thought it was a silver DVD-ROM, but it's not. We can see it's a 775 looking down there. Quite a few screws in the back of this one, so I'll take the screws out and then let's see if we have anything worth €3 out of this one. Okay, so actually it's an Asus machine. Motherboard P5E-VM. I've seen these before. It does have an optical drive in. It does have a hard drive, complete machine again. The hard drive is SATA. This is IDE. One PCIe source, couple of PCI. All the capacitors look okay. One strip of RAM. So let's use the tried and tested method then. Ohms range, any shorts on the 12 volts, Nope. You probably couldn't see it actually, too much glare. We'll go again. Nope, no shorts there. So I'll put the other camera onto the light bulb again and let's try this one. You can see it up there in the distance. We put it to limit. We give it some juice. Does it do anything? On and then off. So we got no short circuits there. We can put this on. We can put this on and we can find the start button over here. Power's up. Doesn't appear to bleep at all. Let me attach a monitor to it. It has onboard VGA, so we can use that. Okay, and one more time. Power on, start. Nothing, no. Yeah, nothing on the monitor. You can see it there actually. Nothing on the monitor. Doesn't want to boot. I'll have a look for this motherboard, but given what it is, it probably isn't really worth messing around with. We can have a look at the optical drive, the hard drive, the processor, just to see what this actually is. But it says dual core on the front, so I'm assuming that's what we will find in there. Okay, you can see where I was looking for the 2400 XT here. Here, this is then sold listings. Let's look for this one. So we have a P5E-VM. Well, funnily enough, that was sold back in October. Yeah. It does apparently have some value, but it does surprise me, although ours isn't actually working. Let's take a look to see what processor is in here, what optical drive we have, what hard drive. I don't think it's really worth trying to repair this one, again, because of the fact that they don't really sell particularly, and because I have 3 more machines here which are much more interesting. That's the main reason, guys, to be honest. I have 3 machines I actually wanted. We can just have a quick look. So we have, if I can find something that's worth the €3 I paid for it, I think I'll just call it evens at that. Let me see what CPU we have. It's again very common thing, 2.8 dual core, so probably worth €3, but that's about as much as we can say for it. I'll stick it on our little stack of bits. What do we have here in the way of hard drive and optical drive? Well, I think I drew a bit of a blank on this one. I could have a look, I suppose, to see why the motherboard will not boot up. The optical drive is one of the black ones, DVD-ROM of no commercial value at all. The hard drive is yet another 80 gig SATA of no value at all. So let's have a look at the next one. We have 2 more of these and hopefully some rather more interesting things to look at. This one's a HP compact. Pentium 4 inside. So it's probably a socket 775, but I have seen these on occasion when they are actually 478. How do we get into this thing? Let's have a look. There's some buttons on the side. Does it kind of like hinge up? Sometimes these things like kind of like just lift up. I didn't bother to get into this at the market because I wasn't interested in it, is the honest truth. Oh, I see. So yeah, it clips and comes off forwards. That's it. That's how. Oh, what we have? 775. It must be a socket 775 because it has PCIe. I can see the edge of the socket down there as well. Once again, it has a hard drive in it, so I'm getting a lot of complete machines this week. Diamond 85, don't tell me it's another Diamond Max 85, it says. What was that, 8S? SATA 150. It's going to be another fairly small one. Okay. Yet again, into the breach, as they say. Ohms range. No short circuits there. Current limiter on. Let's put the camera over there. Of course, I could throw impunity to the wind and just plug these things in without that, and then maybe something exciting will happen. Yeah. Okay, so let's have a go. Power on. What's the bulb do? Yeah. Okay. No short circuit. Switch is on. And this one's switched on again by itself, and it's bleeping. Okay. Six bleeps. Is that like something to do with the RAM or something? The other one's kind of like offset. That one doesn't want to go in very easily. Yeah. It did go, but not easily. Yeah. Switched on by itself. Two green lights on the front. One green light on the front. Probably was something to do with the RAM. Yeah. Okay, that was a fairly easy one. Memory test failed. F4 body bar. Plug a keyboard in. Yeah. F1 save changes. Okay. HP. Likes to bleep occasionally, this. System time is invalid. Okay. CMOS battery flat. Windows XP. It's XP. Yeah, there it goes. So that's 3 out of 3. 2 working, 1 not, with hard drives. Sorry, 3 out of 4. Sorry, 3 working, 1 not working. They all had hard drives on, and the 3 that were working, well, 1 got into Windows XP, 1 had a password on. How about this one? They obviously take data security very seriously around here. Or maybe these machines have just been lying around for so long that the data on them is really not worth anything. And it's in XP. So let's have a quick look. Just see what we have. Don't send. 2.8 gig Pentium again, 1 gig of RAM. Out of that, and see what the hard drive is. A 40 gig. It's going from bad to worse, this is. We have a 40 gig. Maybe that's actually worth more than the 80s these days, to be quite honest. Okay, so not a lot to be said about this one either. This is why I often don't really want these machines even at €3 or €5, but sometimes it happens. Yeah, let's have a look at the towers. This is the last of these machines, which cost me €15 for 5 of them. It has obviously see a beige writer in there, a little beige DR cooler. Is this Dr. Cooler? It has one of them, something rattling inside it, and this is what we have. So this is another 775 machine. Ouch. It has a sound card in it, and it has a firewire card in it. 1 RAM. This one's not a complete machine, so there's no hard drive in this one, and it owes me €3. So I've not had a lot of luck so far, as you can see. Out of the €15, I have a little stash of stuff on one side. This looks like an MSI motherboard. Yeah, MSI, says there, MSI. Let's plug this one in, having tested first for shorts on the 12 volts, and see if this one can make us a little bit of money. I mean, it's not like we have to make a lot of money, and I probably have my €15 and more already. Let's see what this one can do. So, ground, 12 volts, that looks fine. Let's plug it in, and again we'll put the light bulb into current limiting mode. Okay, it's tucked up under there where you can see it. Power in, power on, and let's watch the light bulb. Yeah, that's fine. And one of my cameras froze. Huh? I'm back, guys. Yeah, I'm back. So I've switched it straight into live now. We'll power it up. Yeah, nothing untoward happens, of course. Does it power on? Well, the fans go round. I'm not sure there's a speaker in this. Doesn't appear to do anything. All the capacitors look okay. Let's plug a monitor in. Maybe this doesn't have a little bleeper on it. I have my monitor connected. We can I do like this new camera setup, guys. I hope you like it. One to there. Power it on again. Does it do anything? Yeah, the blue light comes on. Ah, okay. So this one is also working. Lots of working machines here. No hard drive, obviously. So I'll take the CPU cooler off, and we can have a look which CPU we have here. We can have it to see if the motherboard has any value, but really these 775s don't have. And we can have a look at the sound card, and obviously we have the beige optical drive again. We have a little stash of bits then from that machine. The processor is a Core 2 Duo, 2.33 gigahertz. I've just looked this up on eBay, and somebody's selling one for like £1.25, so there's no money in that. The motherboard, the MSI motherboard, somebody's got one on eBay at £8.99 or best offer, so there's no money in that. The little firewire card, I've never managed to sell one, so there's no money in that. But this sound card, this Hercules sound card, I can see some of these that have sold. People seem to like these for some reason, and they fetch about £20, which is actually more than the Sound Blaster Live, so there must be some good reason for that, I guess. So we have about £20 there. This little Dr. Cooler, I can't see one for sale or sold, so I doubt that's actually worth anything. So from those 5 machines, let's look at the little stash of stuff we have. This is the LG 52x CD-ROM, by the way, out of that last tower machine. These do sell, and they have sold, and they're worth about £12. So 12, 32. We have the other DVD-ROM. I haven't tested them, but usually they work. And so that's about another 12. That's 24, 44. The strips of RAM are not worth anything, but they'll go in my stash. The other dual core processor isn't really worth anything either. And this is worth about £8, £10, something like that, whatever it was. So we definitely have some profit, even if only one of the optical drives is working. We probably have £30 or £40 worth. So we've definitely got a return from the €15 I paid for those machines, even though most of the stuff was just going straight into the junk. Now let's have a look at the ones I did want. So these 3 machines cost me €15 each. This machine is one of the AGP machines. This is the sort of stuff I'm buying. Mostly I seem to be getting Pentium 4478s. And this looks like it's no exception to that. So it looks like another Pentium 4478. These machines seem to be really common at the moment. They're probably the most common of, in fact they're certainly the most common of all the retro type hardware I am buying. Will run Windows 98. It has AGP, it'll run XP. So they're quite nice for retro use, and if you're not fetching a lot of money right now, I'm just going to keep them for 5 years and then we'll see what they're worth. And if they're not worth a lot, then well, I didn't invest that much money, so I'm happy. Yeah, I mean, there's profit in them now. I just think they'll be worth more. 2 RAM, CPU, another MSI motherboard. Does this one have a MS7181? Because I want the motherboard and processor from this, I'm just going to take it out of the case because I would do that anyway. 2 hard drives in this one, only one's connected. Optical drive, but it's black, so they're not really of any value. Beige floppy. So I'll just take it apart and then let's have a look to see if it's working and if we make any money from it. I have the motherboard out of the case. The first obvious thing is that the capacitors on V-Core have gone. Not all of them. This one looks okay, as does this one and this one. So 3 or 4 actually look visibly okay and 3 look bad, but I'm sure these will all be in parallel. If there's no short on the 12 volts, and I'll just check, then probably this will power up. Obviously it does need recapping, but it'll probably power up. Let's have a quick check. There we have the multimeter, you can see it now. We'll just check on ohms range. So one side of the connector will be ground anyway, and the other won't, and that's going into the kilo ohms, so that's fine. This will be ground. So there's no short on the 12 volts, and I expect this to power up anyway. At least we can see if it is running, then we can sort this little problem out. The other thing I note is this is not a Pentium 4478. This is an AMD machine. I had a quick look that 1 or 2 of these motherboards have sold recently, with the Athlon 2600 plus one add and some RAM like this, and it fetched £56. Another one sold just the motherboard, it fetched £30. So this is definitely profitable if it works. Okay, I've reconnected the 12 volts. So let's see what this does. Well, actually it doesn't power up. Nothing. I'm sure I have the switch on the correct terminals. Let me just check. Actually I don't. I had the switch on completely the wrong place altogether, on one of the USBs, would you believe. Let's try it. It powers up and it bleeps, so it looks like this is actually working. We can just swing the monitor around. Yeah, I have a picture. You can see it there. So it's working. Yes, it needs recapping, but it's working. Let's see which processor is in it. Oh, this is a Sempron. I'm not sure you can see it, actually. I'll just show you. Yeah, I'm sure you can see it now with a bit of glare on the screen. It's a Sempron 2800. 128 meg of RAM. Or am I wrong? No, 1 gig of RAM. So that seems to be pretty good. We have then £40 maybe, 40 or £50 worth in this one. As I mentioned before, I will stash it away. I won't recap it right now because I managed to break the gun on my vacuum desoldering tool. It's also been clogging up recently, and it turned out that the metal tube that runs through here is actually pushed outwards that way, and I think it was getting colder at the end, which is why it kept clogging. I can buy either a heating element with the tube for about €18, or I can buy a complete replacement for about 30. And I think I'll actually just buy another one and then maybe order the element as well. And then for sort of like €50, I've got one complete replacement, and I'll repair this one. And then if it ever breaks again, or should I say when it breaks again, I have what I need. I actually found a link that has all the parts for this, all the filters, all the bits and bobs. So in case you are interested or you have one, I'll actually put that in the video description. This can go on one side then until I fix my vacuum desoldering tool. It really isn't worth the effort. I can do it without it, it would just take longer. And I have done it on video. Regular viewers will know many times before. Look up some of my old car booty, and even I made a video how to recap motherboards, and you will find it. I actually have two of these almost identical. This one does say Pentium 4 NVIDIA graphics card. It is AGP. It has I'm not sure how you open this thing, but there's something in here. Oh, there's a little release button here, I think, maybe. I think this slides down or something. I can see it on the other one. Can we open it? Yeah, it does slide down. So it has one of these in here. I'm assuming because both machines have them, they came with the case. But it looks quite nice. Okay, let's open this one up and see what's inside it. This I think we just have to give it a thump or something. There's no screws in the back. You can see, oh, there's something rattling around inside it. It only has 2 USB, so it's a fairly old machine, but it says Pentium 4 on the front. MicroStar seems to be the maker of this. There's something rattling in it, so I don't think it's a complete machine. Ah, this does eventually, with a bit of effort. Sorry about the noise, guys. Ah, there we go. Okay. Oh. And that's what's inside it. We have a CPU fan. We have one of those. The capacitors look all right on this one. And again, because I'm interested in the motherboard on this one, it's AGP. I will just take it apart and see if the parts I'm interested in are actually working. Okay, and here I have it. So this has IDE. There's no SATA that I can see. Quite often there is on Pentium 4 478, which is what I think this is. We'll find out. It has this, which I took out of the case, so this would probably fit into a standard 5 1/4 inch slot. I'm not quite sure how you would attach it. There's a screw hole there, and there was like a little flange on this side. I like that word, by the way, flange. Often makes me laugh, don't ask me why. So I have that, and I think it's probably best to keep this with the motherboard. It has a few unusual connectors on it that seem to connect to this, so it was either designed to use with this motherboard or with this case. So I think we can just keep that with the motherboard. If I sell this one at some point, it's there, even if somebody then just throws it away. There's no RAM on this one. There was no hard drives attached either. I missed off the previous one, by the way, the 2 hard drives. I didn't try them because it needs recapping, but that came with 2 IDE drives. Unfortunately, it's a 120 gig and an 80 gig, which are very common sizes. The 500s are quite rare and worth some money. Let's check this for shorts. Yep, pop up the multimeter. Okay. And if we don't see any short circuits, we can try it. Okay, so that's okay. That's okay, and this side will be ground anyway. Yeah. So that looks okay. The capacitors all look fine on this one. Doesn't necessarily mean they are, but they probably are. Let's give it a go. Hopefully this won't bleep, especially if I connect a speaker to it. Yeah, that's what help in that respect. Notably, there's no SATA connections on this one, and quite often Pentium 4 478s have both ID and SATA. It's a little bit unusual in that respect. Let's see, where is the front panel? Well, this says it's a USB, and that went to that thing on the front, and this has audio and went to the thing on the front. So, oh yeah, I'm guessing, well, I'm not guessing, these are the front panel on here. First pin here is PS on, so we can connect our start switch to there. A little bit unusual. Where's the speaker connection? Does it have one? Well, certainly not on here. Okay, it's a bit unusual. The speaker is there, so we do have a speaker. Then hopefully we will get some bleeps out of this, yeah? Let's see. Power on, switch it on. I better attach the cooling fan even if I don't put it on the CPU. We will at least know that it has started. Set it on top of there. It powers on. And it's bleeping to say there's no RAM. That's a good sign. Let me see if I can attach this onto the actual heatsink. How does it go? Oh, okay. That goes like that. RAM. This will be a DDR400, I would think. Certainly fits in there nice and solidly as well. No sticky RAM slots in this one, at least not that RAM slot. Let's try the other one. Yeah, nice and positive. No onboard graphics on this machine, so let's just see if we get a single bleep out of it. Bleeping to say no graphics card. Beep beep beep. Let's put a AGP card on it. I will fix my problem with VGA to HDMI capture. I have another adapter coming. Hopefully that will solve it, and then we won't have to swing this monitor around. But for now it's working pretty well, the setup. So we'll switch this on and power this up. Do we get a picture? Yeah, blue light came on the monitor. That's a good sign. Yeah, we have a picture. Pentium 4 inside. Obviously no hard drive, and there was no hard drive with this one. Okay, so this appears to be another working machine. I will say that I'm doing rather well this week. I mean, that's like 7 machines now, and only one of them doesn't work. Needs a thorough test, but I'm pretty confident this will be working just fine. I have one that needs recapping, but I don't see that be much of an issue once I get my vacuum desoldering tool fixed. I'll take that off there. Let's see which CPU's in this one. I don't expect to be particularly lucky, because the one that's worth all the money is the 3.4 gig, and this is such an old motherboard without SATA, for example, that is very unlikely. The 3.4 gig version runs on a 800 megahertz front side bus. This probably doesn't even support that. How do we get this thing out? It's a very strange. Oh, I see. Oh, it's very easy. So we push down to one side and off. I quite like that. Let's see if we can take this off without removing the CPU with it. Yes, I did. And this is our CPU. I'll bet this is like one of the 1 point something gig. Let's find out. Which actually has quite good thermal compound. Almost suggests this was actually being used. Yeah, it's the 2.8. This is like, these are like cockroach processors. I find these all the time. 2.8. Or is it 2? No, I think it's 2.8. I really do find these all the time. Is this motherboard worth more than the 15 euros I paid for the whole machine? Let's have a quick look. eBay then. You can see the previous one I was looking at. Actually was this one. So 35 plus 16 postage, about 50. Okay. But one then sold just the motherboard for 21. How about this one? This is the, well, MS6785. Of any sold, and these are sold listings. Okay. I have to say I don't find any sold ones. How about ones for sale? Yeah, £20 plus the postage, 25, 47. Well, these are coming from Germany. Oh, so these have been selling. Last one. So this is in the UK. So 25 euros basically. So it's worth more than the 15 I paid for it. We can say that certainly. And I have that funny little proprietary front panel thing to go with it. So maybe that would also add a little bit more. Another one to keep for a little while then. It has a little bit of profit in it. I'm obviously not losing out on the stuff that I have bought. But this will go. I have a lockup where I'm just keeping all these old motherboards for now, unless I'm using them on my own rigs, and I'm just hoping that the price increases more. And as I said earlier, if it doesn't, well, I'm not exactly invested a huge amount of money in them, and I could actually sell them already for a profit. So the last machine looks exactly like that one. I'm guessing then it's going to be another one of these. Let's have a look. And here we have it. Basically an identical or similar machine actually, because the front panel on this one is actually completely different. It has a card reader as well. It's quite different. It has a joystick port on. This one says GeForce FX on it. Okay. This one is not complete because there is no power supply fitted, but it does have a graphics card in it. AGP. Let's have a look to see what we have. This one has screws in. I actually think I didn't actually open this one up at the card boot because I could see, looking in from where the power supply should be, that it's an AGP machine, and that's enough for me. Once again, 15 euros. All these three machines have been 15 euros each. And this one is going to open up without the banging and crashing. Okay. Well, this one actually has no CPU, but I can use the CPU off the other one. Oops. It does have RAM, it does have a hard drive. It has a modem. Well, don't be sorry till it has a graphics card. Let's once again take this apart, have a look at what we have, and see if it works. Capacitors all look good again on this one. Okay. Can just move the clip on the AGP. Are we going to get lucky? I don't think so. What is this thing? Well, it said GeForce on the front, so I'm guessing that's sort of what it is. There's an MSI. NVIDIA. It's an NVIDIA something, okay? So I don't think it's anything particularly valuable. Well, we can come to that in a moment or five. Yeah, it really doesn't say what it is, I can see. Let's get the rest of it apart. Stiff. PCI modem. Bin. Don't see any use for that whatsoever. These cables out of the way. Again, optical drives. The ones on the other machine were both black, so they weren't of any interest to me. I will have a look at these ones in a minute and see what they are. Hard drive with this one. So if it's working with the CPU from the other machine, we can probably power this up and maybe boot it up. Motherboard looks to be the same. Don't suppose this have the 3.4 gigahertz processor in. I really don't think these motherboards would support that, so I honestly doubt it. And then we can look to see if the optical drives are the beige ones. Okay, oops, 120 gig, getting bigger. Interesting little thing in the front of it again. So these literally one screw, and then it kind of like, that's it, flips over backwards and comes out. Apart from a, yeah, like the other one, the cables came through a hole. Okay, quite nice. And what hard drives? Oh hey, it has a silver floppy drive. I'm having that. I think that's probably the first time I've seen a silver one. These are obviously not so common, therefore could be worth a little bit of money for the retro scene. Yeah. Oh, silver fronted floppy drive. The optical drive silver as well. Not sure, these like kind of like open up. Okay. They open up with a little bit of persuasion. Beige. Black. So the beige one's coming out. And we have nice clean beige DVD-ROM. We know how much they are, about £12. Silver floppy drive, I don't know. Let me have a quick look. Ah, yeah, £10, got to be. Yeah, 16, 8.50. Anybody bought any? £16 sold. 9th of December, 6 days ago. Okay, 15, £16. Okay, note to myself, keep any silver floppy drives, they're worth about 15 or £16. But I'll be honest, I think that's the first or second one I've ever seen. This can go with the motherboard if it's working. And we have the motherboard. Let's put the CPU in from the other one. It's a different motherboard actually, so MS6701. Let's have a quick look at that. Sold listings again, if it crops up, it's always the best indication. MS6701. Yep, somebody sold one with a few bits and bobs for £24. Another one went by itself for 21. So yeah, worth more than the 15 I paid for it. I fitted the CPU off the other one. I'm guessing it's probably compatible with this board anyway. I'm not totally sure what this is. It's some sort of GeForce FX. Hopefully if we can boot this from the original hard drive, we might find out what it is actually. We have the IO shield, of course. I'll just put the fan on this and then let's see if this one actually boots up. I have it ready to go, so let's try to power it on. We'll see if it starts. It does start. The light is on the monitor. Yeah, Pentium 4 inside, so This one is also, looks like it is working. Yeah, I can attach the hard drive that came with this one, and we'll see if this will actually boot then. I've attached the original hard drive, the 120 gig. Is it going to boot into an operating system? I can hear the hard drive chuntering away to itself. There we go, Windows XP. So this has an OS on here. Whether it has a password, I don't know. We will find out. Okay. Looks like there was a password on it. I'd have to wait a little while it finds the USB mouse. But we can say this one does work. So out of 8 machines, that's 7 working. Well, 1 needs recapping, but we can call it working, yeah. I've identified the mystery graphics card as well, and it's actually the same as my test card I've been using. So this is the FX5200, 256 meg, and this is another one. The only real difference being this has 4 RAM chips on each side, and this has all 8 on one side. So it's actually one of those, and it's worth about £10. So all in all, that was quite successful really. I mean, we had 8 machines for €60. I have 7 working. Okay, 1 needs recapping, but that's not a big deal. It did actually boot up anyway, and that's not a bad result. There's nothing exciting in this time, nothing overly valuable in this time, which there has been many times from the car boot sale, but I certainly ain't making a loss, and I'm going to keep those 3 Pentium 4 478 motherboards for some time, and also the Sempron Athlon board for some time. That seems to be actually the more valuable of the 3 of them, and we'll see what happens in the future. Yeah, I can just afford to stash it away, to be quite honest, but I could make a profit now if I wanted to. It's almost the weekend again as you're watching this, and I will be at the car boot again this weekend, so maybe I'll find more or find better. It looks like Pentium 4 478 and similar, I'm finding them basically every week. They seem to be really quite common. I don't know whether that's everywhere or whether they're just common here. Yeah, I mean, you guys living all over the place, do you find this sort of hardware? Do you look for this sort of hardware? Have you started to look for this sort of hardware since you've been watching me fixing old junk? Yeah, old junk. There's money in old junk, I'll tell you. Hope you enjoyed that one anyway, and I will see you all very soon on another Learning Electronics Repair video. Ciao for now, guys.